On to our top focus tonight. In a bid to come up with new strategies and plans to strengthen India's coastal security, Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired a meeting of Home Ministers, Chief Secretaries and DGPs of 13 coastal states and union territories in Mumbai today. The Home Minister said that coastal security has been improved a great deal since the terror attacks in Mumbai in 2008, which were perpetrated by terrorists who had infiltrated through the Mumbai coast. Here's all that happened during the meeting.
Ever since the Mumbai terror attacks of 2008, government has been specially vigilant in terms of coastal security. Several measures have been introduced to ensure the security of over 7,500 kilometers long coastline. To review India's coastal security in the wake of these measures, Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired a meeting of Home Ministers, Chief Secretaries and DGPs of 13 coastal states and union territories in Mumbai on Thursday. Union Home Secretary Rajiv Maharshi was also present at the meeting. Terming maritime terrorism as a big threat with huge economic implications, the Home Minister said that the government is carrying out a security audit of all major and non-major ports to identify vulnerable points in coastal security.
पूरे देश में कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी की दृष्टि से वल्नरेबल एरियाज को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए सिक्योरिटी ऑडिट का भी काम हम लोगों ने प्रारंभ किया है। इसके तहत नॉन मेजर पोर्ट्स के वल्नरेबल पॉइंट्स को आइडेंटिफाई किया गया है। लगभग 203 नॉन मेजर पोर्ट्स हैं हमारे कंट्री में।
The issues discussed in the meeting were expeditious implementation of coastal security scheme, institutional setup in states and union territories to review coastal security, constitution of state maritime boards, security of non-major ports and single point mooring, coastal mapping, security of islands, distribution of biometric identity cards and card readers, color coding of boats, monitoring of fishing landing points, and crossing of international maritime boundary line by fishermen. Rajnath Singh said that since the vulnerability of India's coasts was exposed in 1993 when explosives were smuggled to Raigad, and then again in 2008 when terrorists attacked Mumbai, several initiatives have been taken to strengthen coastal security. He assured that several steps are being taken to protect India's maritime borders from external aggression, act of terrorism and crime like smuggling of contraband.
भारत की कोस्टल लाइन और कोस्टल एरिया सैकड़ों ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण शहर और कस्बे, कमर्शियल और स्ट्रेटेजिक इंस्टॉलेशंस हैं जिन पर की जो एंटी नेशनल फोर्सेस की नजर बराबर बनी रहती है। इसे मजबूत करने के लिए हम क्या कदम उठा सकते हैं? विशेष रूप से हमारे न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट्स की सिक्योरिटी के लिए मैं आप सबके सुझाव चाहूंगा।
Rajnath Singh invited suggestions from the coastal states and union territories for phase 3 of the coastal security scheme to be implemented in next 5 years. To secure the coast, government has taken several measures like creating a chain of static sensors and automatic identification system receivers along the Indian coast. Radars are being operated by the Coast Guard at 45 locations. Steps are being taken to set up more coastal police stations in coastal states and union territories. Coast Guard conducts coastal security exercises involving all stakeholders in all coastal states and union territories biannually to validate standard operating procedures. Around 65 lakh identity cards have been issued to fishermen for their identification, and they are being connected now with biometric database. Union Home Minister also stressed on the need for greater coordination between several ministries, coastal states and security agencies for enhanced coastal security. India's coastline is over 7,516 km long and runs through 9 states and 4 union territories. Several industrial, commercial establishments and strategic installations are located in the area. Indian coasts are guarded by a 3-tier system of State Marine Police, Indian Coast Guard and the Indian Navy. Coastal or the Marine Police is responsible for policing up to 12 nautical miles from the coast, while sea security from 12 to 200 nautical miles are looked after by the Coast Guard. And thereafter comes the Indian Navy. Government says its attempt is to continuously upgrade coastal security infrastructure to thwart the designs of terrorists and other criminals, and today's meeting was a step in that direction. With inputs from Shyama Mishra in Mumbai and Sudhakar Das in Delhi, Newsnight Desk, TV News.
To discuss the state of maritime security and what more needs to be done to secure our maritime boundaries further, we are joined in the studio by Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, former Commander-in-Chief, Western Naval Command. Welcome, Admiral Sinha, to Newsnight.
Thank you.
Since, thankfully, no terror attack has taken place since 26/11, that is since the Mumbai terror attacks in 2008, via the Indian coast, would you say that our maritime boundaries are far more secure today than they were in 2008, and what has changed since then?
We have improved a great deal. The fact that the Home Minister himself is chairing a meeting of this kind, 9 coastal states and the 4 union territories.
And it's a biannual meeting.
It is a biannual meeting, and it is happening in a coastal state. That itself signifies the importance which is being attached by this government. What has happened after the 26/11? First thing is that the coastal areas have been covered with the chain of radars, and some more are being put.
Absolutely.
These radar pictures are actually transmitted online to a joint operations center. The color coding of boat, every state has been given a particular color, so that from the air, when the aircraft is actually patrolling and trying to see as to which are the fishing boats which are in the area, they should be able to identify that it belongs to so and so state. It is a tough task. There has been a move to have the automatic identification system in all the boats, even up to the tonnage of 100 tons. And that process is on. Once that happens on all the boats, then you will have the identification even better in the Joint Operations Center.
Absolutely. You've talked about the use of technology, you've talked about radars, etc. Those are some of the measures that various security agencies for maritime policing have taken up. But 26/11 was partly caused because of lack of coordination between the Navy and the Coast Guard then. Have things improved since then? And now we also have Marine Police, we have some coastal police stations also that have come up, and some more are supposed to come up.
Let me correct you first that it wasn't the lack of coordination between Navy and the Coast Guard. What had happened was the intelligence input which came, it was not very specific, and it was the lack of actionable intelligence which was actually found to be a little deficient. So now in the Joint Operations Center, we have a mechanism of the multi-agency center here in Delhi, and they are the ones who quickly disseminate the information down below. In the coastal states also, various intelligence agencies, for example the Navy, the Coast Guard, the military intelligence, the BSF, IB, they all sit together and they exchange notes. The layered patrolling by aircraft, which is an area which is beyond the coastline, by ships which is closer to the coastline. More importantly, the fishermen community in the villages, they have been sensitized.
So are they being tapped for better human intelligence? And one more point, you're saying that the intelligence input then was more generic in nature, but I remember there were news reports at that point in time that said that even that was not transmitted with the kind of pace that it should have been transmitted. We're not going back into the reasons for 26/11, but just emphasizing on the need for greater coordination.
Absolutely, because it was not very specific, the transmission got delayed, and as a matter of it was seen as a matter of routine. But now every intercept or every message is passed down, and reactions you would have seen in last 4, 5, 6 years, that the boats have been intercepted, they have been captured, they have been handed over to the police. So there is a
and the very fact that there has been no repeat of a 26/11 like incident, when you would say, says it all. But on the issue that we were talking about of human intelligence, do you think efforts are being made in order to tap the local communities and fishermen communities for human intelligence, to train them so that they are able to bring inputs?
Yes, it is. The Navy and the Coast Guard conduct indoctrination camps in almost all the coastal villages in our coastal states, and also the local police or the state police has given these informers cell phones so that they can immediately report if there is something unusual, some boat which doesn't belong to their state, to the nearest marine police station.
And there are also plans to hand them radio sets with the GPS locators at the same time, isn't it?
That is the next
is what I'm talking about.
That is the next stage.
Okay.
So human intelligence, they will remain your eyes and ears for quite some time to come. The community has to participate, otherwise 7,516 kilometers is a very long coastline. And therefore, to have absolutely gapless cover, it is asking for bit too much.
Okay. Now, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, during today's meeting suggested that there should be a specialized or dedicated marine police force that should be there in order to ensure that there is coastal security and our ports and strategic installations, etc., are secured. Do you think that's a positive suggestion that should be acted upon sooner than later?
Very much, it's a positive suggestion. Why the Chief Minister is pointing this is because it is something to do with the training. You know, the water body or the sea is alien to most of the people, and police personnel were finding it very difficult to venture into the sea, particularly when it is rough.
And now land has been identified in Gujarat for a training institute also for police, for marine police.
So it will do good to have a bigger institution where all the marine police people are being trained in one place. The Navy and Coast Guard has been helping them in every state for doing the training and getting people more familiar to come out to the sea. So it is a process which is on, and I am sure that in days to come it will only improve. We are much more secure than what we were in 2611.
How important is it to map all the coastal areas? How far have we gone on that front, and what more needs to be done to ensure that there is minute detailing in the coastal mapping?
Coastal mapping, to my mind, the grid system works the best. You start from a land sort of object or a village, and you map it further out and see that every grid is covered as far as patrolling is concerned. You know, when a seaborne boat or any ship which is coming closer to the coastline, it doesn't come all of a sudden, because he has to traverse through all the distance. And therefore, on the grid, if you have located him, let's say at 200 miles or 150 miles, and he is headed in a particular direction, then the rear guard action can commence so much in advance, before the chap is intercepted. So this grid system is a good system, and that should be put in place as far as the mapping is concerned. So that is also one work which is in progress.
Do you think a marine police personnel are well equipped today? Do they have the right kind of boats for surveillance?
There have been some shortages, and I think the state governments are doing the needful. And one of the reasons why the Chief Minister Maharashtra is suggesting that it should be a central police force, so that the responsibility and providing the resources, etc., that will become the responsibility of the central police force. So that probably may be one of the reasons. But you're right that there were shortages, but I think they are going ahead and they are making funds available, fast boats, shallow bottom boats, so that they can traverse in very shallow waters, otherwise they will run aground.
How far have we come on the use of technology and on e-surveillance of our ports, of our major ports, of our non-major ports? Because Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been stressing on port-led development, which is why there's so much stress of Sagarmala and greater commercialization of ports. So if there is greater commercialization, you need to have greater security, isn't it?
You're quite right, because the ports have not been given attention as much as it is being given by the present government. And the Sagarmala project, making of major ports, they had a maritime summit in Bombay very recently, which the Prime Minister himself inaugurated. So this is going to lead us into a direction that ports will become more secured. As you said, e-security. Most of the ports are reasonably secured, but they are only big ports. They are international ports. But smaller ports, they do not have all these facilities. And that needs to be addressed, which today Home Minister also made a mention.
Absolutely. He said that security audit is being carried out of all the ports, major as well as non-major across the country. Thank you so much, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, for having joined us on Newsnight tonight.